And the first step, and none of us are, I don't think there's any doctors in the audience here who are diagnosticians to recognize who has what form of dementia or not. So I don't expect you to do that, but what I do expect you to do is to notice unusual behavior. And if you've got a client who always had been on time and suddenly is always late, or a client who's been good at keeping track of math solutions and now has real trouble making solutions in math, or asks the same question over and over again, or has some other form of behavior that's not typical. Like my client, who was a retired physician who was very well regarded in the community, he went to Harvard Medical School, high-level anesthesiologist, all of a sudden started calling me up and asking to speak to his accountant. And I said, "Doctor, your accountant's not here in my office," but he would call every week to speak to his accountant. And that, to me, was a signal that there was something wrong. This is the first step, recognizing unusual behavior. You've got to be aware. You know your clients. You've had experience with them. You know what they do and say. And if something is really out of character, you need to make a note of that. And once you make a note of that, you need to share it with your associates. Anyone else on your staff, say, "By the way, have you noticed that John's been a little bit unusual recently? Have you noticed what he said and what's been happening?" And see if you get feedback from them as well. When I started having issues with this doctor, I called his accountant and I said, "Frank, have you seen anything unusual with the doc?" He said, "Oh yeah, we just tried to finish his tax return and he couldn't add, he couldn't subtract. It was terrible." So that was clear indication that there was a problem. But you need to let your staff know. And if you have a supervisor or a compliance officer, they need to know. Don't keep it a secret, because you need to back this up and talk to everyone in your office who has contact with that person.